Good afternoon, everybody. It is Monday. No, it's not. It's Tuesday, September 3rd, 3:15 p.m. Eastern. So a pretty choppy day on the S&P 500 on the shorter term time frames. I could tell from the get-go that I wasn't going to like the 5-minute time frame today, as it just wasn't very clear. So we did have a little bit of a tightening range. It broke bullish with no follow-through. It slowly faded down. We didn't hit the low of the day. Pretty much a day where the range is dictated in the opening hour of trading, and then not much else goes on as far as the market as a whole from that first hour. So looking at it on the hourly time frame, the hourly 4 and 8 period exponential resistance have been rejecting the price literally the entire day today, and the bulls are trying to shift that momentum. They have to hold the low of the day and break the high of the bounce of 291.07 to change the hourly trend. And if we change that hourly trend back to the bulls that quickly, then the bulls are going to be trying for this daily higher low to quickly form. So where we stand right now, we are $4 from a bull break on the daily, and I would say we are about $8+ from a bear break on the daily. So the question into tomorrow will be, can the bulls change the hourly trend for the daily higher low to form? Dollar bulls, bearish reversal candlestick on the daily time frame, 4-hour uptrend has been lost. If we confirm that now as a downtrend with a 4-hour lower high and lower low, daily consolidation will be underway to be looking for a daily higher low to form. Bulls have a ton of space to work with. This consolidation definitely was overdue, and I got to fix this live link. Be back. Was overdue, and I gotta fix this live link. All right, should be good to go now. So the S&P 500, what I was looking at real quick to recap is the hourly trend is trying to change. We held the low of the day, and now the bulls have to break 291.07 to change the hourly trend, and the bulls are trying to quickly form a daily higher low. The question into tomorrow is, can the bulls follow through with that hourly trend change to form that daily higher low? Dollar is pulling back with a bearish reversal candlestick on the daily time frame. Have to see a bear break of the low of today tomorrow. We're still in a pattern with a higher low every day the last 7 days. And we have to see a bear break of 98.92 for daily consolidation to be underway. We will certainly be looking for a daily higher low to form. A lot of space for it. And this consolidation was overdue. Gold holding the daily higher low. So a new higher low is at 15.16. And we're looking back up at the recent high of 15.55. And I'm watching this ascending wedge as a possible pattern into the future, but not really in play right now. And we're going to watch to see over the next couple of days, can the bulls break 15.55 and get that follow through? And again, the gold bulls, the correlation with the dollar favors these bulls significantly, holding up so strong in the face of dollar strength. And any dollar consolidation can only be a benefit to the precious metal bulls at this point. Silver leading the way to the upside with a huge move up. The XAU-XAG chart continues to just get crushed. And this is the strongest that silver has been comparative to gold in a very long time, just over the last few weeks. But silver is still on fire. 4-hour uptrend on silver. Anything above 1831 is just a higher low. And the next resistance, with where we stand right now, is going to be all the way up at... The next clear level is really 20.05, but if we had to choose a closer level, it would be 1930. So 4-hour uptrend on precious metals are what we are looking at to dictate whether the bulls continue to keep complete control. Oil, nice oversold bounce today. So we didn't hold 52.95 support exactly, but that certainly didn't mean give up on the trade. So the hourly time frame is looking for a lower high to be set. We're then going to be looking for a higher low because this bounce has significant enough follow through to create space for that hourly higher low to form. So we'll have to change the hourly trend for this move to have any follow through, but anticipating into tomorrow and overnight in futures for this hourly time frame to tighten up. And again, this weekly chart, tighter and tighter it goes now. 11 months, the bulls had to hold 50.51. The bulls are hoping that our weekly higher low is 52.82. Still need a lot of follow through. And the weekly resistance is 57.43. Anything under 57.43 will just be a lower high. Natural gas bulls keeping up their momentum. 4-hour higher low on natural gas is at 2.278. And you may be saying, hey, didn't we break the higher low pattern here? And I would say, no, this was not a pullback for a higher low because it was in a pattern where every single candlestick was a higher low and it wasn't a clear enough pivot point for that break in the pattern of a higher low each candlestick to set the longer term higher low. So from here, it's all about 250. 250 is a key resistance level. Daily chart overdue for consolidation. We may need to see a daily higher low form. At this point, we may not get the weekly consolidation we're looking for with a rejection from 250 and then a weekly higher low to form. If the bulls are truly really strong, it'll be a daily higher low that has to form after an initial rejection. If, of course, we get that initial rejection. But, as always, natural gas starting to shift that momentum more and more and certainly has our attention into the fall of 2019. Bitcoin, healthy consolidation since the strength this morning. 4-hour time frame on Bitcoin. Anything above 10,280 will be a higher low. Currently, it's very healthy hourly consolidation. And there's a bit of FOMO in the space for sure, as there's an ETF approved for big money in hedge funds and not for retail. So essentially, it's a halfway. I'd say it's maybe half of the oomph that the bulls are looking for in an ETF approval, but certainly getting some headlines, getting some attention, and keeping the bulls strong. So before we get into individual tickers, just want to talk about the MJ sector a bit because there's certainly something up in the MJ sector. The question is it legitimate or not? And I don't have that answer. But bottom line, just to summarize real quick, Arlene posted a little news blip on TLRY with no information, which they often do sometimes, that said merger and acquisition rumors on TLRY. That came real early. Let's pull up a better chart. That came real early this morning, back when we didn't really have any price action that let us know that it was worthwhile or the real deal. Look at the volume on the 5-minute time frame. So clearly something triggered at 2 p.m. Eastern. So let's go through the timeline. That was step number 1. We have that rumor, and it's on Twitter a little bit. People talking about a tobacco company interested in TLRY. Then at about 11:45, we started getting alerts. I did on Fidelity, ACB, directionally bullish call volume increasing. TLRY, directionally bullish call volume increasing. And I'm sure it happened on other names as well. I just didn't see those alerts. And then 2 hours and 15 minutes later, the entire sector, as far as the major names in Canadian MJ, see huge explosions of volume. And when I mean huge, I mean look at the 5-minute volume on TLRY compared to the entire trading day. I mean, we went multiple percent over the entire trading day's total volume in just a couple hours. And the timing is important here as well. 2 p.m. Eastern in the middle of the afternoon, that move just comes out of nowhere. So not only did it happen on TLRY, but you can go on every major name and see the correlation with the big uptick in volume and the big bull breaks that occurred. So something triggered at 2 p.m. Eastern, whether it was organized and intentional or not, who knows? Also speculation, it could be ETF rebalancing. And because the prices of the stocks have dropped so low, perhaps the ETFs are adding more positions by purchasing more shares. But the bottom line is, at this point, we're watching a couple key resistance levels to prove follow through. CGC has a triple top at 24.75, and we just got up to 24.65 and could not break it. So we have to see this move and momentum to follow through into tomorrow in order to not just be a little pump and dump. If we see red days tomorrow, this move isn't going to mean much at all. We already saw Cron break its high of the bounce from the last few days, 1139 resistance. Actually, it was 1135 during regular trading. Where was it? Either way, top of the bounce, 1135. So that broke. But ACB, APHA, and CGC have not broken their resistances just yet. APHA has to break 653. I grabbed a position on APHA at 635. As soon as I saw what was going on TLRY and I saw the volume start to uptick in these individual names, I started grabbing some shares. And APHA was one of the names that I chose to grab shares of. And again, it's just the reason that I'm buying into this volume is because we haven't seen anything like this in such a long time. We've seen volume, big volume and moves, but it's on V-shaped bounces. It's accompanied, or I should say it's marked by a dump and then a V-shaped, not even a V-shaped, a bounce coming off of that dump. Whereas this is coming out of nowhere at 2 p.m. Eastern with huge bull volume surging in. And that's just something that's very unusual in the sector over the last few months. So that captured my attention. And again, we need follow through into tomorrow for this to be meaningful. We have the documentary CNBC segment tomorrow. That's US MJ, so I don't think that's what's going on here because it's the Canadian MJs that are standing out for their volume here at the end of the day. And if CGC breaks 24.75 here before the close, that's best case scenario for the sector to get that resistance out of the way heading into tomorrow. And then we're going to look at 25 psychological resistance, 25.28. Still plenty of resistances left. Again, this is just the initial sign of a shift in momentum that stood out to me enough to capture my attention and to make me interested in the sector again. I haven't been interested in any meaningful play in the sector aside from those oversold bounces for quick flips, but I'm going to swing an APHA position into tomorrow for the potential that there is something behind what's going on from 2 p.m. Eastern into hopefully the close. Again, want to see CGC break that 24.75 level and eliminate the possibility of that triple top. So going to tickers now. NUGT. So NUGT, a bit of a double top on the daily time frame, resistance of 44.74, and we got up to 44.24. So if we were to lose the hourly uptrend from here, which we haven't yet, but if we lose the hourly uptrend with a bounce attempt to get over that little double top, and then we fail and lose the hourly uptrend, then that opens up the possibility of the daily tightening range or the potential of the daily loss of the uptrend. So the hourly uptrend is the most important on the bull miners from here, and it's a setup of an hourly equilibrium where we have a big bull move to start the day, a big pullback, and that's creating a really wide range that we could trade within to set up that hourly equilibrium. UGAZ. So some hourly consolidation after a very strong day today. No red flags on this hourly consolidation, as anything above the low of the day will be a higher low. Looking at it on the daily chart, again, I don't like charting UGAZ levels. We should be charting NatGas USD or the NatGas futures, in my opinion, because UGAZ is affected by its time decay. So if we look at July 18th, we're currently under the high of July 18th by multiple percent. And let's just say right now, 1601, we're currently trading at the high of July 22nd. So if I look at natural gas, where were we July 22nd? And we were up at 232, and we're a bit higher than that level right now, about 1% higher. So if it were directly correlated, you guys would be 3% above that level, and we're not. So again, time decay just makes the charting a little bit less clear and trustworthy. So I would be watching NatGas USD, where the 4-hour uptrend is the most important. And when that 4-hour uptrend is lost, daily consolidation to form a higher low will be underway after 7 days in a row of a higher low every day. And of course, the inventory report is going to be on Thursday to be keeping an eye out for. But as of right now, natural gas bulls are closing pretty strong. Just some healthy consolidation at the end of the day at this point. MAXR daily didn't break 722 with any conviction. We broke it by a few pennies, but that's not good enough. So we need to see a move into the 730s tomorrow for some follow through. Hourly chart, little higher low at $7 and 726, and then 750 are resistances, and the bulls need to break 730 tomorrow for some convincing follow through. XXII, CGC testing 24.75. So XXII has to hold daily support of 181. and has to break 205 for some follow through. Bulls are trying for a little weekly bull flag at this point. Hourly chart, we're just looking for a lower high on this bounce. Anything under $2, I would consider a lower high. So we have to change the hourly trend back to the bulls. If the bulls have hope of breaking 205 for follow through, if we lose this little higher low pattern attempt, then we have to zoom out and look for more significant weekly consolidation. We did see a 60% bounce, just looking for a weekly lower high. So bulls really want to hold that 180 level. Otherwise, that opens up the door for potential further pullback on the weekly chart. UPWK. Bear break dropping to a lower low on the daily. So 1408 broke. We are in black dirt breakdown, all-time lows. Anything under 1473 is just a lower high. The bears have absolute control. The last 3 bounce attempts on the daily have rejected from exponential resistance. In the hourly time frame, anything under 1454 is just an hourly lower high. So weekly, daily, hourly, all trends are bearish. And I guess you could say 1385 could be considered a double bottom, but that's pretty much all the bulls have going for them at this point. ISRG, very weak all day today. Bulls have to hold 482 and break 513.65 to change the daily trend. But a big dump, oversold bounce trying to play out. A little bit late in the day for that to get much follow through. When it does play out, we will just be looking for an hourly lower high. And there is a gap. There was a gap at 491.23. So that has filled. But again, this bounce is hardly even starting at this point. Just a little bit of a 15-minute weak bounce attempt, and that could still be a 15-minute bear flag. We may run out of time before we get anything convincing as far as whether that's a bear flag or not before the bell rings. WYNN. CGC 25 resistance. Again, something is up with the sector. Whether there's anything behind it, we will know within a couple days. So win short-term support is 103, and the bulls have to break 106.66 to try and shift this momentum in their favor. So pretty much just 103 and 102.03 as a couple key support levels. The daily lower high was set at 110, and I gave the wrong level. The daily chart has to break 110.83 for the daily trend to take place, trend change to take place. So at this point, it's just trying to hold that support with a lack of support aside from those two little levels right near each other. OMI. So OMI, this is one of those scenarios where we lose the daily uptrend with no bear follow through, which means zoom out and look for the weekly bull flag. And we have that bull flag confirming with the break of 529. We're now looking up at 608. So 6 and 608 are the next resistance levels with the bulls in full control and the hourly chart due for some consolidation. We haven't consolidated at any point today, so we have to be cautious of that fact, but the daily chart seeing increasing bull volume and breaking to confirm the weekly bull flag in a convincing way. It's a kind of setup where if we close strong and then start tomorrow morning strong first thing, I would be cautious of hourly consolidation, which is inevitable. AMD. So AMD sticking to the tightening range. Again, I like it better on the 2-day time frame to eliminate some of the choppy action. Anything under 32.19 was just a lower high. We rejected from that level, and now we're looking for a higher low compared to 29.40. Very similar tightening range to SPY, and it will likely require a break from SPY's range to see a break from AMD's range. Netflix dropping down to a lower low by breaking to, I take that back, haven't broken it just yet. We're right on top of it. 287.20 is the lowest price we've seen, and we're closing near the low of the day. So again, if this is a falling wedge, breaking the low isn't necessarily game over for that pattern. because that is what the pattern dictates. Bear breaks with no follow through. But we would have to see the bulls respond and try and hold 287 tomorrow to not close below this downtrending support line. So the falling wedge is still in play, but as of right now, it's up to the bulls to hold some support. SOXX has to change the hourly trend. We're just looking for a bounce and an hourly lower high. But we have to change the hourly trend for the daily higher low to be established. CGC going for 25. APHA going for 656 key resistance. VFF is getting into the action as a laggard. And USMJ is not impressive. USMJ saw its gains this morning and it's not responding. So again, from 2 p.m. Eastern, it's Canadian MJ that's getting all his volume. And I did grab OH just in case it trickled into the US space with that documentary coming out tomorrow. OH. So OH bulls must break 769 tomorrow. And that would be a break of the daily lower highs. 801 is the golden level as to what the bulls are looking for. Because if 801 can break, that is a little weekly higher low and higher high. Again, it's not the ideal trend change with clear levels, clear pivot points, and a lot of space in between. But in this sector, bulls would certainly take it if we could get over 801. That's still a ways away. So one step at a time. If we cannot break 769 in the coming couple days, I would take that as a red flag because the bulls have some increasing volume and they're heading up to test that resistance, and we just came 1% shy of that resistance. So if we fail to break it and we head back down towards the low of today, let's say tomorrow, that's a red flag. ACB, high of the bounce, was 567, and we have broken that. So now ACB next resistance is 568. Again, I got that alert looking at the 5-minute time frame. The alert that unusual call volume was coming into ACB was right here when the price action was certainly not dictating anything extraordinarily bullish. 2 p.m. comes around, big bull volume, and the breakout. So we still have daily exponential resistance on a lot of these names. So again, still very skeptical, even though we can make the clear observations of the shift and the volume and what's going on in the short term. We have to remind ourselves this is short term. We're talking about a move that's happened in the past 90 minutes. And if these moves are going to follow through on the daily time frame, we need multiple green days in a row to break daily lower high resistances, to create space for the potential of a daily higher low, as we know all these names have not seen a daily trend change in months, to get over daily exponential resistances. So I'm still very skeptical, even though I'm in bullish positions. I'm just giving those bullish positions a chance because of the short-term unusual observation. Hourly chart for ACB, the higher low is 551. Anything above that keeps the bulls in control. 571 breaking would create a little bit more space, as after 571, 587 is the next key resistance level. Etsy. So Etsy dropping down, breaking key support. Every single bounce attempt was a lower high on the daily chart. So we're dropping to lower lows. 52.22 broke, 50.14 is breaking, 50 psychological, and then we're looking at 45.28. This is a very notable shift in momentum where we rejected with multiple tops at the all-time highs and then dumped. So that means zoom out to the monthly chart now. And the next clear price range is $40 to $45. So the bears are in complete control. Next time we bounce, anything under 55.50 is just a lower high. And it looks like the bulls have not put a stop to the bleeding yet. A weak little hourly bounce attempt at the end of the day, and we'll just be looking for an hourly lower high to be set on that bounce. KHC daily bull break getting over the double top at 25.26 was key. 25.87. It was actually 25.85 and 25.87. So double top broken. Looks like something, that's algos. That's automated buying. It's the kind of thing where I would expect it to be getting added to an ETF, or Buffett's coming in to do some buying or something along those lines, because that is way too orchestrated. We've seen it before on CMG. So something's up. Not normal price action. Next resistance level, 26.28. So oil hourly oversold bounce. We're just looking for a lower high to be set, and it looks like we might be seeing some profit taking heading into the end of the day. And we're going to look for an hourly equilibrium into tonight and into tomorrow morning on futures. So we'll look for a higher low compared to 52.84, and then how we break that hourly equilibrium either tomorrow or Thursday for the inventory report. Because Monday was a holiday, the oil inventory report is Thursday. And depending on, I would assume we're going to get a break before the inventory report, but we'll see where we stand tomorrow morning. I chose APHA over any other MJ play because of the weekly time frame. No other major Canadian MJ play is looking for a weekly higher low to form. They're all looking for bounces for weekly lower highs. APHA already had that happen with its bullish reaction to earnings. We're looking for a weekly higher low, and if the bulls can break 760, we change the weekly trend. So the APHA bulls are closer to changing the weekly trend than any other major Canadian MJ name aside from VFF. VFF would be in the same category as a similar setup. And I want to give myself exposure for the possibility. Again, we know we're looking for longer term shifts and seasonal shifts in MJ. So I want to give myself the exposure to the possibility that the monthly higher low on APHA has been set. And the monthly equilibrium is forming. TLT. So TLT unable to break resistance, 148.90. We got up to 148.67. And the daily uptrend would be lost if we broke 146.13. So that's the most important support level from here. Do we still have the hourly uptrend? Yes, we do. So an hourly equilibrium is the most likely scenario here due to the extreme bull move and the size of the pullback, creating a large range. So we're looking for an hourly higher low compared to 146.57, and then we will look for a lower high compared to 146, make that 148.67. And how that hourly equilibrium breaks will dictate the odds shifting significantly to either favor losing the daily uptrend and see the start of some weekly consolidation, or keep the daily uptrend alive. Apple's daily chart is extremely choppy. Short-term support was 203.32. We held that level. Bulls are going to have to break 210.45 to prove strength in the short term. DYME, huge bull day today, but just looking for a daily lower high. Really, the last clear daily lower high is 141. Hourly higher low has not been established in a while. 97 cents was the hourly higher low. And 141 and then 149 are standing out as resistances. CRWD daily inside bar today. 82.25 breaking convincingly. Hourly trend change right now. If we do not see significant follow through tomorrow over 83.17, it's an hourly trend change with a lack of follow through, which means caution of the daily bear flag, but too soon to say at this point. All depends on what kind of follow through the bulls get tomorrow. On the daily chart, anything under 89.35 is just a lower high. And we did take out a couple support levels, so the bulls have a lot of work to do to regain momentum in their favor. This is the kind of chart where I would not be surprised for a monthly equilibrium to set up, where we run from 56 to 10 whatever, and then pull back for a monthly higher low and then a monthly lower high. Again, a recent IPO with this much range and this clear of an indication that the temporary all-time high has been set. That's when we look for price discovery in these new ranges, and that's when equilibriums show up. Amazon was a lead tech bull all day today. Pretty much the same range as Friday, although we did get a bull break just barely by $1. That's not convincing at all. If the bulls want a convincing break on the daily time frame, it's 1830 and 1834. And 1800 is a triple top on the daily time frame. So if we close under that level, that's going to be a key level into tomorrow. Hourly higher low of support is 1785. So 1785 to 1800 is the range to be watching into tomorrow. Lift Black Dirt breakdown. Again, it's an absolute falling knife where RSI means nothing. And we can drop to $38. There's nothing saying we can't. So just be very cautious trying to play these bounces. Anything under 50.20 is just a daily lower high. We can bounce 10% and still just form a daily lower high. Anything on the hourly under $49 is just a lower high. Bears in complete control on all time frames. Uber, same thing. It's just falling apart. And if I were looking for an entry on an IPO that's at all-time lows, I would need at a bare minimum an hourly trend change if I wanted to be real aggressive. Otherwise, a 4-hour trend change or a daily trend change to try and then bottom fish the lows. LABS. So we're just looking for the daily lower high to be set. Anything under 528 is a lower high. If we lose the hourly uptrend, that daily lower high is set. And it looks like we are losing the hourly uptrend here at the end of the day. So the bears are going to have to follow through tomorrow and break 487 to convincingly set that daily lower high. And then it's up to the bulls to hold 426 for a higher low to try and change the daily trend. So it's looking like we're getting some signs that the temporary top is being hit, but we're not seeing enough follow through just yet to be convinced of that. And it will be up to tomorrow to show us that or not. Work dropping down to lower lows, same thing. Falling knife, black dirt breakdown. Anything under 30.19, anything under 30.21 is just a lower high. That is over 10% away. Hourly time frame, big upper wick showing a lot of profit taking. Bulls tried to squeeze some shorts with an hourly trend change, and it did not work out, at least on the initial attempt. But again, anything under 30.21 is just a daily lower high. Daily exponential resistance, pretty consistent, rejecting the price almost all of the last 6 weeks. So that's worth watching as well. Curaleaf was a stud today for the USMJ sector. And the possibility is there to break the weekly lower highs. 1103 is 10% away. That's the level the bulls have to break. Hourly uptrend. Higher low is now 988. If we lose the hourly uptrend tomorrow, daily consolidation will be underway, and we'll just be looking for a daily inside bar tomorrow. If we do see that pullback, we know a daily higher low has to form. At this point, from the low to the current high, we've bounced 32% with no daily consolidation. So we just can assume that it's inevitable in the near term and be prepared for that. But as long as the hourly uptrend is intact, we know that the loss of the hourly uptrend is step number 1 for the potential of daily consolidation. So that's what we will be watching into tomorrow. Did ACB and CGC. I'll go over them again at the end if we got time. BE is extremely weak. Bulls are hoping for an inverse head and shoulders pattern if that were going to play out. Our neckline is 570. Anything under 570 is a lower high, and then we'd have to change the daily trend to try and see any kind of meaningful bounce. But at this point, anything under 570 is just a daily lower high, keeping the bears in full control. And that is one sick stock. So worth keeping an eye on it, but I would personally want to see a better setup for risk to reward based around the potential of that inverse head and shoulders pattern, and I'd need to see the bulls make their way up to the upper $4 range to try and set that neckline as close to $5 or above it as possible. Cost healthy daily consolidation after a breakout to all-time highs, so anything above 272.70 is a daily high or low. Bulls have to change the hourly trend back in their favor. Anything under 293.60 is just an hourly lower high, so bulls have to change the hourly trend for the daily high or low to be established. But we are looking for that daily high or low. Volume's dropping off, which is what the bulls want to see. No red flags on the daily trend at this point. IN.TO breaking out in a big way. 46 cents and 51 cents are the next key resistance levels. And the hourly support is 39 cents. Lose the hourly uptrend and the odds of daily consolidation will increase. But a big volume spike and almost 100% move off the lows. Again, when momentum shifts in the MJ space, these penny stock names will likely see greater percentage moves. And I'm talking CXXI and KHRN and those names that are much more thinly traded. They're getting more beat up on the pullback, but when sentiment does shift, those percentage gains will likely be bigger. It's just trying to nail the bottom that is the difficult part. But IN is doing a great job of showing us that 100% move almost in 2 weeks after a brutal 6-month pullback. So C-Web, little daily higher low at 21.59. Bulls have to break 23.81 to shift the short-term momentum and increase the odds significantly that the weekly higher low has been established. Again, we have to watch out for this little weekly head and shoulders potential setup, but one step at a time. Bulls trying to close at the high of the day, and we have to break 23.81 to break the daily lower high pattern. IAN is still extremely range bound. There's nothing to see here until we break either 345 or 312. And until one of those levels breaks, doesn't matter what IAN is doing. So CGC into the close is looking to test 25 psychological, 25.28, 25.47, two levels that come after that. Again, daily exponential resistance is still there, and the bulls have been struggling at daily exponential resistance for months. So this is a short-term noticeable shift, and now the question is, can that short-term shift translate into a longer-term shift? And follow-through and multiple days will be needed. If the bulls can give us a green day tomorrow on increasing bull volume, it'll be like the second coming. Something that we have not seen in such a long time. It'll be very noticeable. If the bulls really want to prove themselves, that's what they need to do. ACB. Resistance is 586 and $6. So again, we've broken the top of the initial bounce, but still daily lower highs, daily exponential resistance, a lot of work to do. Have not seen 2 green days in a row in almost 3 weeks now. Have to see follow through tomorrow. Nice laggard action on OH. Let's see if OH is going for that level now. SPY bulls are ending with a little momentum. It's an hourly equilibrium into the end of the day on SPY. 291.07 is resistance, and that's a little double top by 1 penny. So OH did break resistance of 769. That's a good start. Not convincing, just 3 pennies. Need more tomorrow. TRUL, I wouldn't consider that a daily trend change. Only a 4 penny difference between the low of these 2 days. The clear daily lower high of resistance for me is 1145. So my answer would be no. It's all about 1145 in the short term. If we can't break 1145, inverse head and shoulders is what the bulls would need to see. So Tesla pulling back, but we're just looking for a daily higher low to form, and the bulls have a lot of space with which to form that. Hourly, looking for an equilibrium, high of day and low of the day in the same candle. Higher low at 223.50, and we're looking for a lower high. We're going to run out of time here, but Tesla's going to get interesting into the end of the year with how this weekly chart is shaping up. Let's look at it on the monthly. Trying for the monthly trend change. Low of the dump, high of the bounce, higher low. And we'll see if the bulls can change the monthly trend in their favor before the end of the year. But first things first, we need to confirm a daily trend change with a higher low and higher high, as this move is essentially coming right off the low, which was a bit of a double bottom. So my eyes will be on MJ tomorrow to see if we can get some follow through. Again, skeptical, giving the bulls a chance, but very skeptical. Burden of proof certainly still squarely on the bulls. So hope everybody had a good day. A lot to commodity volatility. And if these SPY bulls can break the high of today, tomorrow, again, we're going to be way closer to daily resistance than daily support. But as others have speculated, I would not be surprised to see the tightening daily range remain until the FOMC middle of the month. So have a good rest of your day and see you tomorrow.